Checking out Luminary Sounds, your boy Junior LLedo.
It's your boy Francois The Great.
Man, you rocking with Senseii right now?
We had a dope interview with Senseii. We're going to talk about some trending topics, and I think everybody has seen Surviving R. Kelly. Oh my gosh, what do you think about it? What's your thoughts?
Man, I don't know. To me, I think that he's a musical genius.
Yes.
He got some demons.
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of tough content on there. A lot going on. Yeah, I don't wish it on anybody.
No. But you know, my whole thing about it with R. Kelly is he's such a genius that I think people excused some of the behavior from back then.
Right.
Rather it be because Keys to Ignition or I Believe I Can Fly or something like that. But at the end of the day,
Great records.
Yeah. Great body of work. But at the end of the day, I feel that, you know, no one really gave attention to those younger girls that they needed.
That's
that
right.
time. You know what I'm saying?
I absolutely agree with you. And it's sad because you look at the magnitude of hits that he had, the body of work that he had over time. It's a shame because you see greatness, but at the same time you cannot hide what's been done.
No, you can't.
So,
and I think he put out Chocolate Factory amongst the whole when the tape got leaked and stuff like that. And me personally, I thought Chocolate Factory is probably one of his best bodies of work.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So
and now, just to talk a little bit, I mean, you mentioned Chocolate Factory. Dame Dash has an interview now saying that he also knew about R. Kelly and Jay-Z during their album. He did not want to be involved in that because at the same time he was dating Aaliyah. So it even gets more messier.
it gets real messy. Now, let me ask you this though. Can you be a fan of someone and their genius considering the demons that they have? Like, for example, this is way off topic, but Bill Cosby. I love the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
So when it comes
That's
on,
to put him in.
Yeah.
that's it. When it comes on, I'm watching the Cosby Show, and I don't look at like him for his, so to speak, demons.
Right.
I look at the art in the individual, not, you know, the
What
parts
he's
that
done.
Especially within that, that's their career. So they know how to hone that. They know how to bring that world into it.
Absolutely.
While as behind closed doors, you never know who the individual may be. You know, and it's crazy because the whole R. Kelly thing, along with everything panning out with everything what he was doing with the music, the thing was he was outlasting that whole case because that whole case was pushed back, so people's memory
a few years,
was not being jogged, you know, on
Yeah.
everything that he's
Absolutely.
done. So
and this is like
slipped through the cracks.
pre-Twitter, pre-Instagram,
Pre-MySpace,
pre
pre-Facebook,
you know? I remember I was in Tallahassee at shout out to FAMU, Florida A&M. I was in Tallahassee, you know what I'm saying, and they had people selling the DVDs.
Damn,
Some of the DVDs where Kale was doing one of these on the cover and all. Oh my gosh! You know, and people was buying them up. They were buying them up. So
That's
you know,
crazy. He was before Kim K.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
It was before Kim K.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, absolutely. I mean, for me personally, I appreciate his genius in his music, but when it comes down to the morals of the individual and what they've been going through, he needs help. He needs help, and not only does he need help, you know, he was a victim of abuse too.
Yeah.
Let's not ignore the fact that people who have been abused, you know, sometimes they abuse others, and there's no excuse for it. But you know, let's put everything in context here. Like he was a troubled young man. I believe from the series.
He just has to find a way to cope with it.
Yes.
Not even cope with it, but cope and get past it, because that is really holding back what great potential he already has exercised, but a lot more he can pursue. But that's a lot of demons in the closet.
Is it a lot of demons in the closet?
Right.
Is it over for R. Kelly as far as him putting out music and people supporting his music?
Man, you know what? I think when you're that great, it's never over.
Yeah. So he has a chance.
He still has a chance, but only if he addresses those problems. I think you brought up a really good thing when you said he had a lot of issues growing up as a kid. Mm-hmm. But see, those problems were never addressed.
Right.
And since they haven't been addressed, if you haven't addressed those problems, saying, hey, you know what, I did this, I'm sorry, I got to get help.
Yeah.
People are never going to be able to fully, you know, feel that you're sincere. And that's what's happening now. You got a lot of people. I can listen to R. Kelly still, but you got people that have been listening to R. Kelly, and now all of a sudden they're like, I can't listen to him anymore.
I can't. Honestly, that's
You know, so
every song had their own. You know what I'm saying? Like they had their each story behind it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
they had some type of playoff of something of
Right.
why he chose a title or
him
why
and
he did.
Aaliyah,
AJ number.
I'm the Pied Piper, bringing
Right.
the children
That's
around.
so
It's like
crazy.
they tried to, you know. I mean, if he was purposely saying, in his mind, I'm a predator and I want to be the Pied Piper and I want to bring children, I mean, that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? If
that
he's
is.
just like, if he's like, I'm the Pied Piper and my music is so dope, everyone follows me.
Right.
That's a different, you know.
That's a different.
Yeah.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. So.
No,
I think
it's.
he should just retire.
You think he should just retire?
Get back on an island, you know what I'm saying?
Do you
invest in some stocks, get your business going, so money's coming
Do
in?
you think he'll be walking the streets though?
He'll probably,
or is it a possibility?
Knowing him, knowing how he will, he probably will.
Is it enough for people to say arrest R. Kelly, or is it just he say she say, and there might not be enough evidence? And
that's what it is. I think it may be.
You know, because there's been many cases
Right.
where women are taken advantage of. They don't have the proof, so to speak.
Right.
And they have been victims of it.
Right.
You know, how do you do that?
I kind of look at it as you mentioned earlier. This case went on for a long time. He had albums out. He was coming out with singles after singles while all of this was going on. To me, I kind of look at it as if he hasn't gotten convicted yet.
True.
What makes me think in 2018 he's going to get convicted? Not
2019.
in 2019, excuse me. So I kind of feel like if he somehow, you know, says, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. A lot of people still aren't going to like him, but there'll be people that will say, you know what? Own up to your mistake.
He does have a song called "I Admit It."
Oh, see,
and you know it's a long song. I'm a fan of his work, so I listen to anything that he puts out.
Right.
It doesn't mean I condone personal behaviors or anything like that.
But you want to enjoy the music.
Yeah, it's like
it takes you back.
Right.
Are you supporting bad behaviors if you support an artist that's dealing with these type of demons?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's like.
It's a
having a
catch-22.
friend that
yeah.
It's like having a friend that voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's sort of like that. It's like, well, you're my friend, but then you still have that political view that you
may not agree with. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? So it's sort of like that in a way. But I feel like people still should understand and get along to the point where it's like your interests are your interests.
Yeah.
My interest is my interest. Let's understand one another. You
Yeah.
know?
So
now you brought up "I Admit." Do you think that he put that release of that song out too late, or was it just he should have did it sooner?
I think what happened was you know, this is amongst the holding women hostage and not allowing them to come home, and you know, it's getting a lot of heat. I mean, that's what you know, that's trafficking.
Yeah.
That's basically trafficking, which is severe penalties.
Yeah.
And you know, there's women saying that I was not held against my will. Then there's women that saying I am held against my will. So you know, it's
certain
he say,
forms
she say,
of
and who
certain
knows?
forms of economic abuse, certain forms of psychological abuse, where it's like the door's right there, but the world's not going to accept you because I accept you. You know, it's trying to manipulate the victim into basically being isolated. Isolation, you know what I mean? So, and then money too. Like the wife was like, I can't leave the house. I got my kids to take care of.
Yeah,
right.
And he's the one that's making all the money or this and that. So it's putting them in tight positions. But I wish, pray nothing but the best for all the victims. Anyone that else is going through it right now too.
We're praying for all of y'all.
Yeah, all the victims for sure, and definitely praying for R. Kelly as well. There's a lot of people. You know, the saying goes, you know, you treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
Right? And I think the same statement also goes with if you make a mistake in life, do you want the entire world pointing their finger at you about your mistakes and beating you up or whatever?
Right.
And I'm not trying to absolve the seriousness of some of these accusations, but what I'm saying is like, you know, when people need help, they need help.
Right.
And, you know,
you can't hold them back to their past actions if they're trying to move forward. But they have to try to make that first.
They have to make that first step to be like, I have a problem.
Right.
I need to get help.
Yeah.
Right.
I apologize. And that's one thing from R. Kelly. I haven't heard any apologies
Right.
for anything.
Or
I
it
have
doesn't
not heard.
seem like,
Right.
you know,
It seems like he's more of, they want my money.
Right.
They're after to get me.
They're crazy.
These are all lies.
Now, I will say, one man that made his apologies and he is now winning and winning big is Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, he's winning.
Yeah, no.
Chris Brown is winning.
Yeah,
Chris Brown is winning.
Now, you saw something yesterday. Tell me about it.
Chris Brown is winning, man. He just signed a huge deal with RCA owning his masters. One of the youngest artists to own his masters.
Wow.
That's big time.
Taking the leverage back, you know.
Taking it back.
Man.
Taking it back. Now, why do you think RCA would say, Chris Brown, we're going to offer it to you?
I don't know exactly why they would do that, because you kind of look at Chris Brown's body of work.
Yeah.
Everything he's put out has been massive. I mean, he had some albums that didn't do as great from his standards, but he's went platinum mostly on
Pretty much on
every
every
album,
project.
on
Yeah,
every
every-
project. So if you're RCA, it kind of just says to the artist, hey, we got your back, which is great, but I'm actually surprised they would actually take that side, because a lot of these record labels know that right now it's all about the independent artists. Artists are doing their own thing.
Absolutely.
So to survive as a record label, it's kind of a risky thing, I see, for RCA. What do you guys think?
I think that the record labels are looking at anybody can put out music in any volume at any point in time, no matter where they live. You know,
Yeah.
TuneCore is a huge example of people just putting out music on TuneCore and their platforms and stuff. But the only problem is that the streams you gotta have so many streams to
Just
equal
to get
a,
up that
just to get a
certain
sale.
amount.
Now, how fair is that to the artist, in your opinion? Is it a tragedy of the commons, so to speak, where there's
the
so
stream
many
value,
people?
you know, the stream value for a play or for a song, generating that worth to, let's say, a certain amount of cents.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. But like going back to Chris Brown real quick, like I feel like he has presented body after work, going on tour, dancing every night. You know what I mean?
He's an entertainer for sure.
He's an entertainer.
You know,
For sure.
he's a massive like superstar.
He's one of the GOATs, man.
So
He's one of the GOATs.
Oh, yeah.
you know, he has the accolades, so he has the body of work and accolades to back it up. Maybe to the point where RC is like, all right, well, we know he'll bring us money, so let's give it in sort of his hands. So it's 55, 45.
It's not more of a risk for us, you know. We know he's gonna.
It's safe money made on RCA and vice versa, Chris Brown, because he knows his star power. So
Absolutely.
it's like,
And you're talking about a guy, not to cut you off, before he got into trouble, he was getting compared to Michael Jackson.
Yes.
especially.
So the Double Mint commercial.
Right.
You know, chewing gum commercial. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but you know they took that right off the air. But you're right though. This is another guy who had some demons that he was facing.
Right.
He immediately apologized for it.
Yep.
And what I don't like is how people consistently will use that over his head.
Right.
Like why? That was so many years ago. People make mistakes.
They do.
Let people grow. You know
people
what I'm
are
saying?
trying to better themselves to this day. And
Yeah.
how can you better yourself if people are constantly pushing your past on you? It's like, I'm a new man, I'm a new person, new individual, or I'm at least trying to be.
Yeah.
How can I try to be with you?
Absolutely.
You know, spouting that towards me.
Absolutely.
But if you look at even him, he actually did have backlash, like you said. He apologized for it. What happened? Just a couple of months later, years, he had Look At Me Now. And Look At Me Now was huge hit for him. Not to go back to R. Kelly saying, can he actually do this or can he get through it? I think if you really apologize and you're sincere, we live in a world where people actually do, they accept apologies and they forgive you. It may take them time.
But would they forgive Kells?
That's a tough one.
That's like on the par with
it's
like
like
Bill
that's a
Cosby.
tough
Because
one.
if Chris Brown is admitting to physically abusing another individual, which is also that's deemed terrible, they gave him a chance. Can R. Kelly survive? Do you believe that Chris Brown's his genius was able to allow him to get out of that as well?
As long as he's humble.
Yeah,
I feel like the attitude and optimism towards like, okay, I'm like we were going back to that.
Right.
Like, you know, I have a problem going to get help.
Yeah.
If he does that and it shows, but I feel like also we're at a time where people will either forget or they'll move on to the next topic of what's fucked up in the world, and what's messed up.
Yeah.
What's the next thing that's going on? What's the next thing that made viral? You know, for all we know. And I really hope that whatever's going on doesn't, you know, it doesn't take away from all the stuff that's been happening with him. You know what I mean? Like, people need to know. They need to remember. They need to, you know, sit with it and understand it. You know, but we need to move forward too.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
and I just think that with R. Kelly, time is big, because the more time that goes by, it seems less and less sincere. Now we're already years into this.
We're decade.
How old is R. Kelly?
I think R. Kelly, he's in his 50s.
He's in his 50s.
He's in his 50s. But I think because he's in his 50s, it's going to be harder for him to, I think, thrive in a millennial style, you know, musical environment. R&B is not the same. Like, for example, people are calling themselves the R&B king now.
Right.
You know, like, I'm the R&B king, and I'm the R&B king. And, like, what qualifies any R&B singer to say I'm an R&B king? Like,
now,
what do you think?
I think that was like Kel's
Kel's called himself the king.
Right.
He called himself the king.
Now, for me, I know it all started with Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
When Bobby Brown was big.
It started with Whitney saying he was
right.
R&B
With
king.
Whitney saying he's an R&B king.
Yeah.
Then after that, you had R. Kelly.
Yeah.
And then right after R. Kelly, you had the time where Usher, people thought Usher was just going to take... Usher was killing it.
Usher was killing it,
Usher was killing it, and
I don't want to
like
slight
the Chris Brown of that time, because he was young also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, so he was Chris Brown before Chris Brown, right? And then people can say, well, he was Bobby Brown when Bobby Brown was Bobby Brown. Because a lot of people,
within that
you know,
time
it's all in the
generation.
generations.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I really think that, how did you feel about Jacquees coming out and saying that?
You know what? When he called himself the R&B king of his generation, so to speak, I think I looked at it in two different ways. I seen him as saying, like, I'm a true R&B rhythm and blues singer, right? Versus a lot of R&B is more talking. A lot of R&B that you consider they're talking as they sing. They're not really doing runs and you know,
ballads,
doing certain kind of ballads and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think where he was coming from was like, I'm the essence of a true R&B singer.
Right.
You know, like Usher, an R&B singer. And Usher, you know, I love Usher's music, but I've seen him like take
He
steps.
has his own divas too. What's going on?
I know.
I've seen him take steps back in his music where he's starting to sound more like of a generation than being his own individual. Right, and he's such a great artist that he doesn't have to do that. But I think that's what Jacquees was coming from. I'm a true R&B type singer.
I feel like it's a mindset. Yeah. When you're a young up and coming artist, like I was going back to where we did our interview.
Yeah.
You got nothing to lose. You know, you have that mindset. It's like, all right, I see where I want to be.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing it right now.
Yeah.
So if he says he wants to be, and that's what he's aiming for, in his mind, it's already set. But maybe it came off rude. It came off abrupt. Like, what makes this young guy entitled to have that position or spot when he hasn't had the accolades? He hasn't had the backing of a label. He hasn't had this. He hasn't had
albums and albums.
But it's not saying
Grammy nominations.
You know, it's not saying that he won't do it or he's not. It's not possible. But let it happen before, you know.
Right.
But
do you need accolades to call yourself king?
Great question.
Because in today's musical environment, you know, streams and stuff like, it's very different than what Michael Jackson was saying.
It's funny you bring that up, and I'm gonna, you know, of course, Senseii was talking about this in his interview here. It's sort of like when you look at hip hop. There's a lot of unknown kings of hip hop.
Yes,
you got Marley Marl. A lot of people don't know who Marley Marl is. I know both of you do. Yeah. But if you're to say Marley Marl is like the king of production when it comes to hip hop, this generation may not know. But of course, from our generation, we would agree with you. Yeah. He hasn't won many awards or accolades. Yeah. Like Grammys.
But everybody,
like that.
But from his peers,
he's from his peers,
they know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, there's, you know, of course, you know, and then you got someone like DJ Premier, he's got the accolades. He's from, you know, that time. He's still doing what he's doing. Not to say Marley Marl is not, but you know, I think that's a great point that you bring up, because I think you can still be a king. It all depends on your peers, because your peers are in the battle with you.
Right.
More so than your consumer.
Right.
You know?
So very true, very true. You know, I believe in my personal opinion that if you believe in yourself, you're a king anyway.
That's
right.
So
your own opinion of how you do your music, or how you do your craft, your genius, that's you. And can't nobody else take that from you. So own your stuff. That's yours, and it's your own opinion. There's no right or wrong answer to how you feel.
That's right.
Music. Very subjective. So I want to say thanks for tuning in to Luminary Sounds. It's your boy Junior Leto.
It's your boy Francois The Great.
They call me Senseii.
Yeah, we'll be tuning in really shortly. Peace.
Peace.